Hey guys, it's Damien from Marketing Food Online. I hope you guys are having an amazing day as always. I wanted to run down a really quick story. I get asked this quite often. How did I get started and what was the story behind what motivated me to leave a job and then, of course, start a business and not knowing much about having a business and kind of learning along the way. So I'm in my office right now. You have to excuse me just 1 second. Okay. So here's how it started for me and my wife. This was nearly 10 years ago. We were working in a retail setting, if you will. I spoke with my wife one day and I told her, look, I said I was so passionate and so excited about trying to start a new business. I didn't know exactly what that would be. I didn't know to what extent we would be doing a food business and, of course, doing this type of a business now. So believe it or not, we actually ended up pulling together what we had in a 401k, and we ended up renting out we started an Italian bakery, by the way. What we first started with was just a handful of cookies and a couple of pastries, and we were making them from scratch, and we had no clue initially what we were doing. We knew how to make the product, but I had no idea how to run a business. I had tried several other businesses prior to this one, and it went over kind of okay, but I just didn't have the experience and the know-how, but I just had something inside me that kept pushing me to tell me that, you know what, this was not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life working in retail, roughly 10 to 11 hours a day as a supervisor, and coming home at night exhausted and only making what they would pay me, as opposed to creating my own wealth and my own amounts of money that I could particularly make by coming up with creative ideas for food products. And then, of course, what we do now with nearly 400 plus items and doing corporate events and selling on 6 platforms and so on and so on, creating a 6-figure business that we now have today. But back to where we started was a very small bakery. We actually had to, believe it or not, it was 500 square feet. So if you could picture the size of maybe your bathroom and the size of your kitchen, that was basically the size of our facility. It was very, very small. Let me get over here on this side, sorry. And then we actually had to go in. The place that we rented it for, we sat down with the gentleman who owned it. We told him that we could only do about $500 a month. And we literally rented 500 square feet of space. And we had to go in and gut it out. We had, this was not it was not in a newer plaza, I guess you could say. It was an older building. So we literally had to go in and put crown molding up, paint the walls. We had to clean up the floors and do a whole bunch of maintenance. We even had to we had to put a grease trap in. And then we had to buy the equipment, the display cases, the prep tables, the mixers, the panini presses, because we ended up offering gelato ice cream that I made from scratch. Taught myself how to make bread, and we actually were making 8 different types of bread. We had panini sandwiches, over 40 types of cookies and pastries, and the list went on and on because I thought that we would need such a large selection to attract people. Well, we did that for a handful of years, and then my wife and I were having our son, and what I realized was trying to grow a business. Literally, my wife and I started it from scratch, literally from nothing, and we did it kind of full-time during the day, and we stayed part-time at night in our other job because we stepped down for what we were doing. Because we needed that additional income because we had started a business, and it wasn't generating the kind of income at first, of course, that we needed, let alone the kind of income that we wanted to have. So it was kind of a twofold. I had family that would help me. My mom and dad would come in. They would help us with the production of the candies, or not the candies, the cookies. And they would watch the shop during the day. When after we were working there, we would go at night to go to work, and they would close up for us. So we did that for quite some time until we fully left that job. We actually got let go. So at the same time, both of us were released from our retail jobs. And then we proceeded to push and try to grow that business. So with the news that we were having my son, that was when we realized, you know what? Local traffic was okay, but it could have been a lot better. So how can we transition this business and how can we shift it into being online? Because I had never been online before. I actually did not know squat about computers. I was not a computer savvy person. So from there, we started our store on eBay. And we offered about a dozen of the cookies that we made because those were the only things that we could ship. You know, I couldn't ship sandwiches. I couldn't ship, obviously, gelato ice cream. You could, but it's really costly and very expensive. So cookies are the only thing that came to mind. So on eBay, we after about 12 items, we started getting customers on eBay liking our products. We got a lot of positive feedback. It was great, but we needed to grow it faster. So customers were starting to ask us for certain types of products. So from there, believe it or not, I actually grew this business into over 400 items because of the customers and a little bit of creativity on our part. But the idea was to listen to what they were telling us and asking, hey, could you do this or do you offer that? There is a handful of items that we obviously turned them down and we said, you know what, that's not something that we do. But the bulk of what we actually make now is because of the customers and listening to them. One of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this was that as you grow your business, you need to listen and pay attention to the customers that you're communicating with. Those that you're doing business with will actually help grow your business if you pay attention. And don't be afraid to offer other items or other food products. Just because you don't currently make them doesn't mean that you can't offer them. And if you don't make them, you can buy them and resell them. So keep your ear open and keep your mind open to what your customers are telling you, because that is what has grown our business into the success that we've had now. Excuse me. And then from there, your business will take off kind of an organic way, just a natural way that your customers will dictate a lot of stuff to you that may actually end up making you money. You don't have to lay out every single product right up front and know for a fact that this, and this is going to sell. Start with what you have. Like I did a video earlier that said just start with where you are, what you have, but listen to what people ask of you, okay? We literally make, like I mentioned before all the time, I say this, it's over 400 items because it's a variety of cake balls, chocolate pretzels, cookies, candies, rock candies, brittles, nuts, seasoned nuts, trail mixes, and so on and so on. And again, the majority of those ideas, as far as certain flavors or packages or sizes and such, they come from us. But the fact that we even sell them is because customers ask us, okay? So do keep that in mind. Be aware of what your customers are communicating with you and asking you about, because it is a great way to take what they are looking for and incorporate that into making money for yourself, basically. So then back to what we were talking about with the story. So after a couple of years, we decided to go completely online. And instead of having a retail storefront, we went ahead and after we used up the bulk of our 401k and slid a couple of credit cards a few times, we decided to be online. So from eBay, we actually then went to Etsy. And then from Etsy, we opened a store and we offered, I think we have about 300 items or so, 280 items on there now. But we've done over I think it's close to $120,000 on Etsy over the past few years. And that started to tell me that, you know what, the things that we're offering, I think the next step, because I didn't know much about Amazon, but I heard a lot of people making a lot of money selling a lot of different things on Amazon. So that is when we applied for selling through Amazon on the gourmet food category. And then once we got ungated, which is approved, you have to be approved to sell. Once we did that, that's when I realized that there was a lot more to this, and I could build this business into something much more than it first started to be, and then much more than what I thought it could be at first, because I didn't think of this large amount of success in the way that it has happened now. And that goes back again to, you can plan as much as you want, but your business in a lot of cases will kind of show you where you can go with it as you begin to do it. But don't hesitate and don't delay or don't put off starting it, because the biggest step, of course, in anything is just getting started. Once that happens, you just need to pay attention to the signs, pay attention to what people are asking about, and seeing what sells and what doesn't sell. So over the past few years, we've now been able to build it into a full-time, extremely busy business, and that has given me the opportunity to even do this YouTube channel, because I can now relate to you guys through nearly 10 years of owning my own business, the experience of what I've been through and the things that I had to do in order to get to where I am. But don't ever think that you can't get to whatever it is that the goal may be. It may not be a food business. It may be a business online that sells electronics. It doesn't matter. But the first thing you got to do is get started with it and get the ball rolling. Get your licenses, get your permits, get your insurance, get all that stuff set, and then just start taking small little steps. It's never about big steps. It has never been about big steps. Every business from Microsoft to Google has always started with one single idea, and then it began to grow upon itself. So with that being said, I just wanted to let you guys know a little bit about how I kind of got into the food business. I don't think I've touched too much on that on some previous videos in detail, But it always starts very small. And then from there, you get the motivation when you start to get customers in. And it could just be one customer, and it could be a profit of $10. It doesn't matter. Because the point is, you started something, you created something from nothing, and you've made a profit from it. Now it's just time to build on that. So with that being said, I appreciate it, guys. Please do give me a thumbs up if this video was informative. And I'm sorry for the kind of craziness. I'm in my office right now getting ready to ship out some more stuff. So have a great day.